So there is this growing movement claiming that not having kids is somehow the more enlightened position. There are a lot of young people who believe that having children is some form of burden, some form of eternal burden, and they prefer to just go about life without it. So I found an interesting debate online where the people who are against having children came to present their case, and some of the things they said were really interesting, and I think is worth discussing.
Most women who choose not to have children use health risk as a cheap excuse.
I'm going to start this conversation by saying health is wealth. I know my body more than anybody else. There is this list going around on social media right now where women have been listing out things that they've gone through during childbirth. Loss of hearing, loss of taste, loss of smell, loss of sight, arthritis, preeclampsia.
So I think this is where me and my mommies on the panel would disagree, because I think the the healthcare challenge in Nigeria, it's a big deal, and I think we lose. I think one out of every 20 women dies from childbirth and pregnancy and all those complications. That's a lot. So as a young lady, if you're looking at that and you're scared by it and you really don't want to have children because of that, I think it's a valid claim. I think about close to 100% of the maternal deaths occur in third world countries. So like we are the thing, like we are it. Almost all the bad things about childbirth and pregnancy happen in countries like Nigeria. So I think it's crucial to take that seriously because it's something that can happen to you. Personally, I know two people. One of my schoolmates in secondary school, she died from childbirth. I know a family friend also that also died from childbirth. So it's if you're Nigerian, it's a common thing. You most people know one or two people that have died from childbirth in Nigeria. So I think it's valid to be scared because of that. I think it's totally valid. A lot of these things are things that the government should provide for us. Giving birth shouldn't be something that you would like hug everybody and kiss everybody before you leave because you don't know if you are going to come back. Giving birth shouldn't be like that. And I think that's on the government to change the situation of the country, at least regarding that.
Our next prompt is childbirth limits women's potential.
If you look at the workspace, when a woman gives birth, she goes for maternity leave and all of that. When she comes back, so do you believe that that kind of person will still be as efficient at her job as she was before she had that child?
Now, what you're saying is essence is women with children or women taking care of children are not good at their job.
That's not what I'm saying.
No, that's what
Now, to our credit, the richest woman is childless. But, but, in the list of top 10 most successful women financially, it's just one that is confirmed to be childless. I think one or two. A lot of them have children, and the other ones have an undisclosed status. So they didn't, like, nobody knows if they have children or not. They haven't told anybody. But majority of them on that list have children. So if childbirth really limits the potential of a woman, I think what we would expect is that in the list of the top 10 most richest women, at least 8 of them or 7 of them will be childless. But as it turns out that majority of them are still with children and they are still better than a lot of people that are childless, then I don't think that's a factual claim. I don't think it limits a woman at all. I think going to the list of the top 10 most successful women is too far because we can even check this among ourselves. Among all the women you know, how well are the childless ones doing, like compared to the ones with children? Are they exceptionally good or they are just there, just like everyone else?
Not wanting to have children is inherently selfish.
I don't want to have a child to patch up old wounds. Children are financial responsibilities. They are financial, they're physical, they're spiritual, they're emotional, they're all innerly responsibilities. Me telling myself that I am not equipped for this is not selfish in itself, but it's selfless because I'm saving somebody's child, my child, from a lifetime of trauma, abuse, or anything that will be inflicted on that child.
Now, to her point, not having children is really not selfish. I understand the popular opinion says that if you refuse to have children, you're being selfish, but I don't think that's true at all. Now, let me tell you why it's not true. If you're being selfish, what that means is that you're doing the best thing for yourself. In a situation where you have a lot of things that could be done, you do what will give you the best advantage. That's what being selfish is. I totally understand some of the reasons why people would think that not having children is advantageous, but the advantages of not having children doesn't really last. it lasts for a while, but at some point when your body begins to yield and you start getting old, which we're all heading in that direction inevitably. At that point, the advantages of having children, once you get very matured, supersedes the little advantages you had because you could flex a little longer. That whole pleasure you think you are enjoying doesn't really last. Once you are no longer looking like a young person, you won't really be welcomed in young people's cycles, and a lot of these things that you imagine you will be enjoying in your single life will no longer be there. Because I think you can even verify this by yourself. When you go out to a social gathering and you see an elderly person there, don't that freak you out? But that's just a person that just wants to have a nice time, but his time has passed. So even the social setting itself will be repelling him, something like that. So you don't want to be the old guy in the party. You just don't want to be that guy. So what I'm trying to say in essence is having kids is far more advantageous than not having kids. I understand that you could have a kid and the kid could be sick or so many things could go wrong. Yeah, those could happen. But it's not like if you're single, it's always perfect. You could lose your limbs, you could have an accident and lose your eyes, and you're really fucked. So ultimately, I think one of the most obvious things about this debate is the fact that one side had some elderly people and the other side had just young girls. I think that's just the major thing about debates like this. That's just to show you what happens. And I think the people that should be supporting childlessness should be the people that actually went through with it and they're like 50 or 60 and they came out to tell us that that's a very good decision. Those are the people we should be listening to, not children. Children that have all the options still open to them and they think that life will keep going on that way. There are lots of women doing crazy shit right now to have children. You've been on social media now, you've seen things. This Hallelujah challenge that just ended, you know how many people went there dressed with wedding gowns and all. That's just to show you how much priorities change with time. So I don't think that it's enough to use how old are you? Yeah, like 21, 22, 23. So I think people at that age should be really careful about how like the kind of major decisions they take because you obviously don't know anything and the people above you have changed their mind totally. Like the people older than you have totally changed their mind, and most of them would give out anything to have children. But you think that's a joke somehow. Like I don't get it. So as usual, let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. And yeah, I had a mini accident at home and I'm fine. I got my hand burnt. That's why my hand has been down the whole video. So those of you that stuck around to the end of the video, you guys are my real G. That's why I told you guys this. And see you guys in the next video. Peace.